What's up, cereal bowls? It's your favorite crazy cereal, InsaneAppleJackz here once again with the Atomic Game Squad. How are you all doing? Because I am doing super duper chill. As you can see right here on the screen, we're back and we're doing some more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And today I'm gonna be doing two short videos and one really longish video. Well, it's the length of the two short videos together. But hey, we're back to have some fun. And basically, the first two matches are zombie matches, and the last match is just a little thing I thought you guys would have fun viewing. So, you know, I'm also sorry about not putting one up on Friday. What had happened was I was finally getting my computer fixed. But let's get into this first one. So this first match is between my zombies and ATK's Zerfras. And to start things off, he sets a Shaddol Zerfra and the Shaddol trap card, Shadow Games. Now, I don't really draw into anything, so all I can do is activate my field spell and set a Book of Life in my shift. I'm not even going to try to explain this. Let's just say he activates the Pendulum Zone. And he has a scale of 1 in 7. Now, in his hand, he has Beelzebub, the Zerfra, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that other name. Now, this looked pretty dangerous because all I have in my hand is a Vampire Duke and a Vampire Vamp at this point, so not much can be done. Now, on his Pendulum Summon, he basically gets rid of my field spell and my trap, but he destroys both his monsters, so that kind of makes it good for non-punching, but I still can't do anything on draw. And after set, he's Pendulum Summons back, he gets rid of my back row, only to come back with his Beezle to punch in for 19. Now, as you saw in this opening clip, I titled this one Virtually Stacked because I don't know how it was done, but bruh, these draws. So I get my Night Beam, I take out his back row, which was the counter trap for Zerfras, but it just so happens he didn't need that, only because he got the luck of the draw and pulled into that young Shaddol Fusion. Now with his Shaddol Fusion, he fuses for Construct, he Pendulum Summons all those Pendulums back, and Beelzebub punches me too. Isn't that just pretty? 14,000 left and still no draws there. So I decide to shuffle my hand, go to main phase again, shuffle my hand once more. I don't know why he didn't attack this turn and just passed it back, but look at that. 3 Vampire Dukes. 3 Vampire Dukes. A Shadow Vampire and a Vampire Vamp. Now, if that's not stacks, I don't know what stackery was. And even if I would have been able to get something out, it still wouldn't have mattered because Construct would have been like, hey, special summon, destroyed. And his Pendulums would have been like, you said something? Destroyed. So, this match altogether could have been better if I wasn't virtually stacked, but other than that, I don't see too many other ways it could have went. It was just, ugh. But coming up on the agenda is our second vampire match, which is, well, technically a rematch for my zombies, but he did use a different deck for this one. I believe he uses yosenjus, and let's just load up the clip and start it. I thought I'd need so much more time in between these transitions, but apparently I didn't. So I'm doing pretty good right now. So I start this one off by setting a Sorcerer and setting a Wiretap. He quickly MSTs that Wiretap and sets up his yosenju Pendulum Zone. He gets out his Dragon, which allows him to send back 2 cards on the field. And then he puts out 2 of these Yosemites. I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing the name right now for it, but basically what it does is it can be special summoned in attack or defense, and whenever it's attacked or whenever it attacks, it gains equal attack and defense to the monster. So basically Trollzilla. So my first option is to punch it, and when it's punched, basically destroyed and sent to the graveyard, add a card to the hand, but I match his tick for tack and we go back and forth with this. Now he Pendulum Summons out and he hits me for 15. I believe on damage he adds a card to hand. He goes for his Berserker Rhapsody, which was actually a super smart move, because if not, I would have used Sorcerer to remove from play to special summon out either Duke or Vampire Vamp. Well, actually normal summon, but it would have gave me ways to come back that. So eventually it gets to that point where my hand's looking pretty stackish again because I have all 5s in the hand and 2 spells. No real way to punch him, but hey. This next play he pulls, I really like it. He pops back my trap card and he pops back his Rhapsody for future cases just in case he needs it. I figure he only runs 1 of that, but hey, who knows. So just in enough time, I get a Mizuki, and because of my Vampire Kingdom and he's a zombie, he gains 500 extra during damage steps, so he gets right over that little copycat. But knowing this magical dragon BSery, he sits up here and he pops both my back rope, and it's like, hey guy, take these back to your hand. So all I can really do next turn is send them back to the field since I have nothing to use Mizuki's effect and I have nothing in my hand. But he basically pendulums out and gets me down to that last 800. Now, I will not understand why he didn't attack with these other 2, but let's just say I'm really glad it happened in this manner, because otherwise this match would have went a lot differently. I'm really questioning the yosenju ways that happened here, but maybe some magical extraterrestrial stuff happened based on him not punching me. So, based on me being under 2,000 points, I Night Beam his back row, and I sit up here and use my Endless Decay's effect twice because that's possible, and if I wasn't going to punch him at first, Vampire Kingdom made sure of that because plus 500. So, in other words, if he would have sat up here and finished me off that turn, this match could have been a completely different story, but I call bullshittery Heart of the Cards. So, that's beautiful right there. And we switch over to our final match of the day, which is a tag team match. I'm not going to lie to you and play like I know off the top of my head what we were using in this match, but hey, let's just load it up in a second. You know, load it up in a second. I might have to cut this part because I thought this was going to be a whole separate video section, but you know, how you guys doing? I thought this would be a good time to remind you, if you guys are enjoying yourself and you're enjoying the rest of my content, sit up here and check the links down below in the description. Ooh, I can't really talk right now. I just got done doing a podcast. But check the links down below in the description and you can find all my other social medias and stuff. So, like I said, I think this was a tag match and I'm using shaddolls, but I don't think this was my first time using this build. And you guys seen it in another video before, but this is my shaddolls staple build where I'm using staples as a way of sitting up here to fuse. And I start off by fusing a construct out of my hand. I send a dragon and a Falco to the grave. Falco pops his effect. Dragon pops the mirror force, and then I put an ice hand out there just to sit up here and punch in. Now the second guy, I don't even know what he was running. I just know it was a mixture of a bunch of dragons and waters, and it kind of looks like that's an ice barrier right there. But his spear dragon took care of my Falco, but I brought back my Squamata, and Squamata's effect is how I sent the Falco, just in case you guys were wondering. But Teller Knights are on the field, and Construct and the Teller Knight, and oh my god, it all just punches in real nicely. And let's pause right here to show you Constructro Diamond, which is a Stellar Knight that basically says destroy a dark, just screw a dark on summon, screw a dark, no effects, screw a dark. So obviously to get around this, he puts out Exoton, everybody's favorite get around card, which gets rid of the field. But since TK is running Zerfra staples, he also gets the pluses of my shaddolls, and he gets the pluses of, I don't know if his Teller Knight had a plus, but it looked pretty plusy there. So he punches into the Squamata that I set. I sit up here and I destroy the Exoton to stop future fiascos. And the best way to explain this whole scene right here is Pendulum Summon, Field Spelled, Fusion, Pendulum Summon to defense, use the effect of the Ritual Beast, remove a card, which is Paprika. Paprika is in the grave for 2 turns, and well, the banishment zone for 2 turns, and the reason Wendigo is because Wendigo. So in other words, you think you got us? You can't destroy us. On his turn, I will admit this was a really genius plan. So what he did is he reptiled and then he used his clown. The clown's effect pops back, and basically he loops it to get another Exceed out. What he does with this Exceed is get Castle out. He uses Castle to send Wendigo back, and it's just really beautifully executed. But he does forget about my Ice Hand. No, I'm playing. I put an Ice Hand out there, and I basically punch in for my own enjoyment to get rid of a back row, and then Fire Hand's like, what's up? Now, this was the part that was confusing me at first, but he was like, I'm going to punch in on your pendulum. But he had Skill Successor in the back row, which basically says, add 400 to your monster, so he punches over. Now, he gets rid of my Fire Hand with Constell, but I get rid of Alexandrite with Fire Hand. So, beautiful combos, right? Pendulum Summon going in again. Now a bunch of effects pop off, and the main thing that we're looking at right here is the fact that he popped off his monster just off of a Pendulum Summon. That's beautiful right there. And also popping off his own monster, he gets this magical wait, there it goes. We get Shaddolls Nafar. I can't even. But the main thing is we get this flame beast who sits up here and chills and attack at 2000. Like, come at me, Constell. We could do suicide battles. And we have a full fill at this point. The effect I just tried to activate right there was a Zorb Jar. And if you're not familiar with a Zorb Jar, I don't blame you. Jars are trying to get new support, and basically what he says is, on flip, destroy all spells and traps in your opponent's back row. So, in other words, Heavy Storm or Giant Tornado. Now this was actually funny because in another duel I actually messed up when somebody put this guy out, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what, let's just Dark Rebel it. And at that point he was under the pendulum, so I was like, why waste anything else? Let's punch in with the pendulum, let's punch in with Dark Rebellion, and then sit up here and finish this off with a Shaddolls fusion. But let's get a little trolly with this. Now, also, the fill spell right here, if you're wondering where this effect Veiler came from, it has a different effect just based on different special summons, and I fusion summoned, so I was able to special summon Veiler from the hand. Veiler punches in, and we finish this game off with Shanaga, and she's like, hey. Do I think this game could have really went any differently? Not really, in my opinion, but it was still a really good game of going back and forth. Now, to admit, we did lose points because we were at 1,000. We were at 1,700, but it was still a nice strategy that we pulled out. So I don't think they really could have came back for this run. But yeah. And we are back at the end of the box where we just sat up here and finished another super duper video. I want to thank you all for sitting up here and watching this video. So big thumbs up to everybody that watched this video, and super duper big thumbs up to everybody who sat up here and watched this video all the way through. I appreciate that. If you enjoyed this video, sit up here and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. And if you have more complicated feelings than that, sit up here and leave some comments down below to tell me, so I can improve on future videos like this. If you're new here and you aren't already following any of my social medias, follow those over there, which include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Because that's how you keep up with me when I'm not doing stuff here. Mostly because I'm a college student. So yeah! If you're super duper new here and you're not a cereal bowl yet, sit here and hit that button over there, or that red button down there that says subscribe. And, you know, become a part of the Cereal Bowl Nation, the best nation on the internets. If you ain't know, now you know. Pretty much that's all I have to say. So, munch, 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 and peace out. That's a wrap.